Going live now.
What's that?
I said I'm about to go live now. Then we can start.
Oh, am I on? Something happened to my screen. Oh. Okay.
All right. Good to go.
Well, good day, everyone. Welcome to another installation of NCC's Community Connect. We have a special guest with us today, and he'll only be with us for a short period of time, but we really appreciate him coming in. So I'm gonna do my best to read through some of the things that our guest today has been involved with. Paul Billings is the president of 98.5 The Wire in Orlando, Florida, as well as 103.7 The Beat and M106.FM in Muskegon, Michigan. As visionary of the media industry, Paul founded the West Michigan Community Help Network and consults with dozens of stations across America. His innovative projects include acquiring FM broadcasting license across cities like St. Louis, Kansas City, and Grand Rapids, which have significantly contributed to community outreach and education. Noteworthy initiatives led by Paul include the Thurgood Marshall Job Fair, annual Turkey Day giveaways, and the creation of the educational programs that offer kids trips to African American museums. He also established the Kids Free Trip to Africa programs, which allows children to visit Ghana at no cost. So far, 41 kids from Florida and Michigan have visited Ghana for free. Paul has made considerable impacts in Orlando, Florida, as the president of WHPB 98.5 FM, known as The Wire 98.5. He has fostered a community-centric station that hosts impactful programming and events such as the Heart and Soul Music Festival, held annually at the Apopka Amphitheater. It's the largest old school music festival in Central Florida. Got to get there. His entrepreneurial spirit extends internationally through the co-founding of the Visit Tanzania for Less Safari Company, where he is involved in community development and fostering tourism in Tanzania. Paul is also a developmental chief in Ghana, West Africa. As the chief in Ghana, his village has seen huge growth since he was installed from new computers, labs, to community library. He has enhanced the everyday lives of over 5,000 people in his village. He served in the U.S. Army, Reserve, and Military Police from 1988 to 1992, and worked as a correction officer for the state of Michigan from 1987 to year 2000. Thank you for your service. His outstanding contributions have been recognized with multiple awards, including the 2019 Citizen of the Year, the Dick Gregory Good Brotherhood Award, the Pine Hills Business Pillar Award, and the 2024 Entrepreneur of the Year Award from the Muskegon Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce. Paul Billings' career is a testament to his leadership skills, his keen ability to engage and support the community, and his strategic thinking in both local and international contexts. His initiatives have not only enriched communities, but also built lasting relationships across various sectors, showcasing his commitment to resilience and cultural sensitivity. Because of his reputation in the broadcast field, Paul was one of the few media personalities who was able to interview President Joe Biden in February 2024. He has been a trusted source of broadcasting for over 30 years. His proudest moment was being a single parent to two beautiful daughters who are now grown, and one owning her own clothing line and the other with a doctorate degree in sociology. Wow, that was a lot, but trust me, there's more. There's always more. Anybody who is that busy, there's always more. Welcome, Brother Paul Billings. How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. So we got to only have you for a short period of time. We're going to just move forward on what's going on with you. I want you to end during this broadcast, anything that you feel like you want to make a commercial of, do that. Do do
All
that.
right.
Even now, I'm used to rabbit trails. I don't have problem with rabbit trails, and we've already said a lot of things you're engaged in. But I want to say this right off the bat. You're looking very good. So I want to touch this. I would say that you're looking better and younger than you did 10, 15 years ago. So this is not one of the original questions, but I want you to touch on that because, even though black don't crack, we do have some health issues that we deal with in ways that other people don't deal with. So you've been doing something. I want you to share that.
Just increasing my workout, Pastor Elder Chris, increasing my workout, watching my diet, getting my weight down to a healthy level, trying to convert muscle into fat. So, I cycle a lot. I go bike riding. That started this journey.
Mm-hmm.
So those in Orlando, Florida know we have the West Orange Trail. I've done up to 30 miles on the West Orange Trail.
All right.
Here in Muskegon, I'm on the bike trail, and I have a fitness center at each of my houses. So I take advantage of it at least 3 times a week and try to get on the treadmill 3-4 times a week. And I don't eat pork, I don't eat beef. Kind of watch what I eat. And you're right, I feel better today than I did 15, 20 years ago because of those lifestyle changes. And if you want to see your business flourish, you got to have a healthy mindset and healthy body. Otherwise, you'll check out before it start blooming. So
that's right.
I need that. And watching you jog throughout you in Melbourne, you jog through the community back in the day doing cross country.
I left one thing out. You mentioned that back in the day. Yeah, we do go back quite a few years for anybody who sees this. We're both from Muskegon Heights, Michigan, Reynolds Street and Baker Street. But I want to say in that introduction, I could have always said that this is also, out of all of these accolades, this is also the well-beloved baby boy of a very fine mother.
Thank you. Appreciate yes.
It.
And you and your siblings also. We're very closely connected. So.
That's very much so. That's very much true. Well, I want to ask you, how did you get started on the free trip to Africa for the kids?
I've been traveling a lot, and after going to Ghana several times to the slave castle, honestly, I saw some white kids at the slave castles from Germany. I think it's from Germany or Europe, and I'm like, wow, these kids are seeing the history that their ancestors took part in, but a lot of our black kids don't get this opportunity because of how far it is or the economics situation they might be in. And so I'm always coming up with crazy ideas, Chris. And so I went back to my staff and said, hey, can we just start with maybe a couple kids? And I approached Muskegon Heights superintendent, and at that time, Alina Zachary Ross. She thought it was a brilliant idea.
Right.
And kind of gave me that burst of energy that I needed and saying, we can help with the fundraising. And it turned into something bigger than what I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, it's very commendable. That's a great thing. Of course, can you speak about a little bit about? Well, I mean, people have different feelings about travel, but it's been said that you want to do something about ignorance, have somebody travel. You want to do something about prejudice, have people travel. You want to have somebody really open up their mind, have them travel. What is all this traveling meant for you internally or in how you express yourself?
Traveling has been absolutely my biggest educational impact. I learned more traveling than I probably learned in the classroom. And you just have to branch out. I've been to 42 out of the 50 states in America. Every black community in America I've been to, besides Charlotte, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. And I learned things there. And I learned in my international travels. And so it has opened up my eyes. Traveling has allowed me to meet some very interesting people just off of spiritual connection, just by saying hello, just by smiling. I've been blessed to meet some amazing individuals, and which has helped me, help me elevate what I'm trying to do in life. And so traveling has been I don't know what I would do without traveling. Pastor, I mean, it's an amazing thing. So we want to do that with the kids and show them that there's life outside your zip code. There's life outside your city, outside your state. And whatever you've been fed, you have to let those lenses go down because you're going to see stuff you've never seen before. And you're going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't know this existed. So traveling has been, it's not for education. It's not for entertainment for me. It's for education.
Right. Right. Uh, on that note, do you have a count on how many African nations you've been to now?
It's what, 15, I think it is now.
15.
Yeah.
15.
And
I
I'm not gonna get to all of them on real, but my goal was to try to get to all of them. But some are in some positions that I just don't want to be traveling
don't want
to because
don't want to
because of
show up there.
war.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of war, war stuff. But I do want to get to maybe like 24, 25. There's some of my bucket list that I do want to check off. So.
Well, you're not that far from there. You're not that far. And it seems like you're increasing the ability, whatever you're doing, it kind of increases the possibility and ability and things like that. So I believe you'll get there. On that note, you're a chief. Tell me about that.
Yeah, being a developmental chief in the Abiyazi Shako village has been a blessing to me, my family. Being able to touch the lives of this village, about 5,000 people in Ghana, West Africa. When we first went there, maybe about 15 years ago, I asked one of my friends, I was going to Ghana a lot. I was hanging out, but I never seen the people that we would see on TV. Because when you go to Ghana, you see a city life. You don't feel like you're in Detroit. You're gonna feel like you're in the city. That's all you're seeing, and the city can bring you in. You got some very beautiful people, fashion, big buildings, clubs, music, the culture, and then you get stuck there. And I'm like, I want to see the people that we see on TV. So
Right.
like, and most people in the crowd, they are either come from the village or they got family in the village. So one of my friends, like, okay, I come from this village. We can go see my village. And so my next trip, I went to the village, and me and Pastor Ken Shelton, may he rest in peace. We went to this village, and we were the first Black people there ever seen from America. They had only seen white people in the
Right.
village. At this time, they didn't speak English. They spoke the native language, and we made a commitment to them after seeing their living conditions that, hey, we want to help. And they told us some of the things they needed. We was like, okay, well, we can do that. And so the head chief at the time said, well, we'll make you chiefs. And I didn't know what it meant at the time. We were just trying to help.
Right.
They needed computers, they needed books, they needed clothes, stuff that we had here that I know we could send, and we just trying to help. I didn't care too much about the title. Unfortunately, Pastor Shelton passed, and he helped a lot at the beginning of this thing. It was teamwork. But again, I went to understand that a chief role is very important. That the title means just as more than elected officials in the culture. So they respect chiefs and kings, which is all part of a royalty.
Right.
They respect them more than elected officials, and that you're heavily connected. You mean a lot to them, and so we just started to do a lot of work, trying to impact the lives in the village, and we have made in a short time, I would say we have made a tremendous impact to the lives of these kids.
Right. Great. Great. Now there's another a little caveat on paths crossing or almost crossing. That should have been when Reverend Ken Shelton was with you in 2011. You were in Ghana. At
Right.
the same time, I was in Africa for the first time.
Really?
And I was in Ghana and Liberia. And
Wow.
both Reverend Shelton and I were trying to make the connection on the phone, but it didn't work out. But look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
The exact same time. And
Yeah. Wow.
for West Africa, we hear about that. And I'm going to bounce to the other side in East Africa, another area where I'd like to see more of. But I saw you on Meta a few weeks ago. I was out in the morning, and something popped up, and it was Zanzibar. Okay, now you mentioned bucket list. That's on my bucket list.
Please,
so
gotta go.
Tell me about Zanzibar and talk to us about the safari.
See that shirt right here? You talk about commercials,
right? Right.
Yeah.
Zoom in. Now you may be the only Black person that I know of. I don't know whether your title is owner, collaborate, or whatever with the safari, but you're the only Black person that I know of. I'm not talking about some state owned or country owned.
Right.
That this initiated this, whether that Black person is from the diaspora or from Africa. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So we started visit Tanzania for less during COVID. Tanzania was one of the few countries you can visit. Didn't have a lot of restrictions. They had some restrictions. You had to take a test when you get on the airplane, take a test when you get there. Right. And so I went on my first safari. I think it was 2021 or 2020, 2021. And I went on my first safari rail, and I the driver, my host, was so good, and I thought he owned the company. So at the end of our tour, after about 5 days, we get to talking, and he told me he worked for somebody else, and we get to talk about what it would take to establish safari company.
Hmm.
And so during that time, a lot of people had checked out because tourism was down. So we safari trucks were cheap.
Ah,
And
timing.
so yeah, so when he told me the opportunity that was in front of us, I was like, you know what? You have the brains, you went to school to do this. I have the resources. Let's create a company. And from there, it's been all the way up. And so we take people to Tanzania, to Zanzibar. We even do co-hosting in Kenya. We have a group from Muskegon, a couple from Muskegon who is coming to spend time with us in a couple weeks. They're going to Kenya, which we have connections in Kenya. Then they're
Right.
going to Tanzania and to Zanzibar. And it's been my latest. I found my latest passion because I love traveling, and now I get to see how traveling is making people's lives. I had an opportunity to be with a guest last month. The mother came from Spain, and the
Ah,
daughter came from New York, and they was on a daughter-mother trip. And so I traveled with them for a few days, and just to see how these trips are making memories for people, man, it is so fulfilling because there are no gimmicks. You're gonna
right.
see the animals. When we take you to the national park,
Right.
you're gonna see lions. You're gonna, we get lucky, we see cheetahs. We get
Right.
lucky, we're gonna see leopards. But there are no gimmick because it's all nature.
Yeah,
You
they're
know,
out there. That's where they live.
that's where they live. So all you just gotta do is pull up. You know what I mean? They're gonna be there. The beach is gonna be there. The water's gonna be blue. The
Right.
people is gonna be nice. You
Okay,
know,
how is Zanzibar? How beautiful is Zanzibar? I know how it's always looked to me on pictures. And any other thing you would add about that region? We always see the part that is commercial, the part that is the relaxing. Any other part that you want to add to that? Go ahead, speak.
Zanzibar is so unique, Rhea, because it has an old school feel, but when you get to
Hmm.
the beach, you got a new school vibe. Like Stone
Yes.
Town is still Stone Town. It still has the old look. They're preserving it, have the old look. But
Right.
then you get to the beaches, the hotels are unbelievable, overlooking the blue water. And it's a very peaceful island. It's 99% Muslims.
Hmm.
Um, they don't believe in crime. They
Right.
haven't had a homicide there in years.
Right.
If somebody lose their phone, you can drop it and it'll still be there.
Right.
They don't steal. They don't believe in stealing. And so the hospitality there is very nice. The people are nice. They have the Maasai people there who
Right.
come in and be along the beach. But the actually the pictures don't give it justice.
It couldn't.
It doesn't give it justice, Rev. We got low tide and high tide. I had to learn about the low tide and high tide.
You didn't learn the
Depends
hard
on
way,
where.
did you?
No, no, I don't.
Okay.
See, I don't know how to swim, so I can't go too far. I love water. I had a yacht that I sold 2 years ago, but I don't know how to swim. But I
uh,
love water. So but I did learn about the high tide and low tide and things. And so depends on where you at, when the tide is. It's unbelievable image, man. People don't want to leave. You don't want to leave Zanzibar once you get there. And the food is good. The people are nice. You meet people from all over the world, and you just get a chance to relax and
right.
enjoy a beautiful paradise on Earth.
Yeah. Well, the east side of the continent. You may not know this. I have a new sister-in-law who's Kenyan,
Yes,
and so
yes, I
and
just
so
found out.
and so there's the open door to come and visit with the family and things like that. And I've been to parts of Kenya before, but my intention is if I haven't made it to Zanzibar and some of those other places on the east by the time I get to Kenya, I'll be coming right down the Indian Ocean side of the continent after I
Yes.
after I get there. So with that, I want to move a little. We move from the west to the east, and you see we're bouncing all over Africa right now. But let's go north. Um, uh, tell me about Egypt or any other part in the north that you've if there's other places in the north that you've visited on the
Yeah,
continent.
Egypt has been. I went to Egypt when my mother passed for the first Christmas. I couldn't bear being home
Right.
in 2019 for Christmas, or first year of being gone. So I went to Egypt solo trip. Really enjoyed myself. Learned a lot. And so my mind got to clicking on. Hopefully one day we can get the kids there. So I
Oh
went
yeah.
back to Egypt. Went back to Egypt last month. I saw a little bit more this time. I was just not a grieving traveler. I was more connected and paying attention to more detail. And so I went to Luxor, went to Cairo, and really learned a lot about Egypt and a little bit more about our history. And there is a connection. There's a connection between West Africa and Egypt. When
Right.
you get to Africa and we get to Ghana, your tour guides will tell you how the migration started from Egypt and
Mm.
that region, and they migrated west for greener pastures, for a better life. And so Egypt was it's amazing. We're taking the kids there at the end of June. We got seven
Great.
kids from Muskegon. And wow, it's just amazing how big and how firm these pyramids is. I mean, I've been inside these pyramids, and the bricks that we're touching is it's different from any other kind of bricks and cement that
Right.
I've touched in my life. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable how they was able to do all this 5,000 years ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. And the people that they have there now,
Uh-huh.
some of them might not be poor Egyptians because the people that who are doing the hosting,
Right.
they don't look like the people that's inside the pyramids. Inside the
Right.
pyramids, you see the images of
Right.
people that look like me and you.
Right.
And I learned that most of those people are in Aswan are in the land now known as Sudan.
Right.
And I think the Bible spoke of Cush, uh,
Correct.
and those Kemet, those so Sudan and Luxor and Aswan, those were the darker complected Egyptians. Those are the ones who built the pyramids.
Hmm.
When an invasion came, a lot of those people got pushed south. So it's it's an
Oh,
amazing journey. I know North Africa. I've been to Ethiopia, has a lot of history there. They preserved a lot of their history in Ethiopia, and there's a connection
yeah.
between Egypt and Ethiopia. The food, the church. Some would say that that Christianity might have got its originality from Ethiopia, and they would argue, they would fight that. Hey, we this is the beginning. This is where it started at. And so I was able to see Lucy in
Mm.
Ethiopia,
Correct.
a million years old. So
Hmm.
that region is a very unique region. I haven't been to Morocco. It's on my list.
Mm.
Tunisia, those are part of those countries that are on my list, particularly Morocco.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah. Now, every time you stop at one, I want to keep going in, but we're limited on time. So,
No.
but I'd like to get to Ethiopia, been to Cairo, but not Luxor. Tell me the difference between Luxor and Cairo and everything south of there.
The people to me were a little bit more brown.
Hmm.
The people I met in Luxor, family was from Luxor compared to some of the people I met in Cairo. My
Hmm.
first time I went to Cairo, my tour guide was from Turkey. Because I asked questions, you know what I mean? I asked
Right.
people, you know, like, hey, where are
Right.
you from? Where your family from?
You got you
It's a
got to go.
journalist,
Why go and not know?
right? So during that time, you get to the, you get to the bottom of it. Luxor is a lot of the people in Luxor have ancestral roots to Luxor. I haven't been to Aswan, but I will go eventually. In reading, that's even more darker complected people.
Right.
I met people in Cairo who are from Aswan, and they look like me and you. And
Right.
so those are the ones you see inside the pyramids. And
Right.
Luxor, the Valley of the Kings, the tombs of the kings, is there. The Luxor temple is there. So it's a lot of big, tall structures there.
It
No
looks, everything
pyramids.
looks colossal.
Yes, colossal. Yeah. So we know where the Greek got their influence from.
Right.
There's no doubt
Right.
that Egypt and Africans played a role in all the other development that came up throughout Europe. They
Yeah,
were
they didn't change.
influenced
They
by
didn't
it.
change it much. They just straight up copied.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how brilliant our people were back in the day to do all
Hmm.
this.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
I'm go ahead. Go ahead.
Luxor is definitely something people want to consider.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when you say, I think what you're doing is very eye opening. Not when you open the eyes, you open up the heart. So when you talk about the brilliance of what we were, the brilliance is still there. If we get our eyes open, the brilliance will come out to our heart. I think you're a great example of that. But I'm gonna move down the continent, and I don't know where you've been in the lower part of the continent. Have you been South Africa or any place like that? Or?
Yeah. I've been blessed to go to South Africa quite a few times. I was there last year for 2 times. I've been to Zambia. I've been to Zimbabwe. I've been to Mozambique.
Mhm.
But Madagascar is definitely on my list. Seychelles
Uh,
is on my list. Mauritius is definitely on my list. Those places, Comoros.
right.
Uh, those countries are definitely on my list. But South Africa, that's like American. It's so
That's what I
beautiful. So, I was talking to Kenny Lattimore's manager yesterday, and
hear.
because we're working on something. He is so popular in South Africa because they love American music, and he
Right.
will sell out stadiums, eight
Hmm.
thousand people,
Wow.
in places like South Africa, and it's so developed. I got 5G on my phone when I was in South Africa last year.
Hmm.
The streets are paved. It's
Right.
not perfect. They still do with some power outages, and power shedding. But it's probably, if you're looking for luxury and you don't want to deal with traditional. They do have traditional. Get me wrong, but
Right.
you just want to go somewhere to look like Miami. Then Cape Town is that place.
I'm gonna stay on Africa for a second, but I'm gonna move into a contemporary you could call it a contemporary news item or subject of interest for those who know. This fellow named Ibrahim Traore, and the three Sahel nations that are there in the Middle West. Well, what is the word, or what is your view on that? What are you hearing? Whether it's on the different types of media platforms throughout the continent, beyond the continent, or what people are saying on the street about this fellow, not
So,
just about
yeah,
him there, but what's being said in other places about what's happening.
and this past 45-day journey that I went to 7 African countries this
Mm-hmm.
past 45 days. In every country I've been to, Captain Torre is an icon, hands off Torre. They're looking at him as a uniter. You talking
Mm-hmm.
about kicking out the colonizers. Most people don't understand. In school, maybe they taught it and I just didn't get it, but I didn't understand. Colonizers sound like something nice. You know, it doesn't it doesn't sound like slavery.
Well, yeah, when
Um,
the colonizers was teaching it.
yeah, when the colonizers teaching them. So in most African countries, you still see the impact of colonization there. They're France. I've been to Senegal. I've been to Togo. They France control their money.
Yep.
France control the printing of their money. And so Torre, which is another country colonized by France, is saying, no, we're going to control our resources.
Right.
They came in and, got the mining contracts for, taking control of the resources. So Torre's like, we're going to control that. We're going to kick y'all out. We're going to kick the military out. Yeah, I know y'all was paying us rent. We were getting something, but now you want to control us, and we just can't have that. So Torre has been what Gaddafi was to the continent. And I'm just very afraid because America has a terrible history of killing African liberators or having something to do with the African liberators. But he is an icon. They marched all over the world a couple of days ago and in support of Captain Toure in Burkina Faso. So, man, people are, when he came to Ghana for the President Muhammad's
Ah,
inauguration, they allowed him to carry his gun
right.
on him. And
He
some
needs
people were
to.
like, "Wow, yes, he had his gun on him." That's how much he's respected now by other African presidents. Now the connections probably is more stronger with Muslim presidents. So John Muhammad, who just got elected president in Ghana, he's a Muslim, and
Right.
Toure is a Muslim. Burkina Faso is a Muslim country,
Right.
and so they have a strong connection there. But he's well respected, and I pray that the Creator protects him.
Right. That's great. What what initiated all of these different? I recall. I'm gonna step back. I recall in the 1990s, I was working for the fire department, Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I remember seeing this young guy that I remember from Muskegon Heights, and he was doing this. He was doing something. We're trying to get some videos on a TV on late night TV stuff. And then a few years later, I'm in Muskegon. He's like, I see him out at Plums, and I said, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on?" I'm getting ready. I'm leaving the state. And I'm getting ready to do this radio thing. What's been the inspiration, step to step, left turns, right turns, new avenues? What's been going on with that for
Wow.
all of these years now?
God has just been opening up doors, faith and prayers. I never dreamed to be where I'm at right now, to have a license in Orlando, Florida, to in the heart of the Black community. I never dreamed that the video show, on the ground video show that started in Muskegon and went to Grand Rapids, became the largest independent Black video show in the country.
Right.
Those are facts. I never, and was produced right there on Baker Street. I had a studio in my
Baker Street.
basement on Baker Street. Took the bottom half of my house and made a production studio. So the record labels would fly me out to do these interviews. And then I had a production studio there. I self-taught myself how to edit 3/4 takes, Super 8, digital, all that stuff. Learn how to edit. And it became, I was able to take care of my kids when I left the prison,
Right.
And so it's been all God and faith, man, treating people right, Chris, praying, paying my tithes,
Right.
and just being around good people with good energy, staying away from mess, staying away from garbage, being conscious of my time around negative energy. Like
Hey.
I can't stand negative energy. If you got negative energy, I am out of the room. You know what I mean?
Where did he go?
Right. You find a reason to leave, and I know, so we can go another 10 minutes past it.
Okay,
We can go.
I was going to try to press you for it, but I don't like to use the word press. But thank you. That's very gracious of you. Yeah. Okay. Now, with all these different things you're engaged in and have been engaged with, and as you said, what you described is wild ideas, crazy ideas, just come to you and go. Okay, that's a very positive mind that they can make the decision to, okay, crazy idea. Maybe I should check into it. What's ahead? What do you see ahead for you? And sometimes you don't want to tell everybody your plans because some people try to squash them before you get it going. But whatever you want to share about maybe dreams of your heart, the stuff that seemed like okay, I want to do that, or whether it's right in front of you or it's big picture, or got to do this before age something, anything like that.
I do see my biggest projects being in Africa now. Now that I know I have a dual citizenship, I have a citizenship in Ghana, and so I'm working on. I got 3 major projects that I'm a part of outside of the village. We're building a school in the village. We're going to build a hospital in the village eventually. But those through the nonprofit sector, there are 2 projects that I'm working on, and one I actually be a part of. Somebody else is leading. They just want me to be an ambassador. That's going to provide affordable housing to Americans to come back to Ghana. 1,500 houses, and
give me the number.
Housing, 1,500, and it's starting off price is only 28,000.
All right.
For an all-inclusive community. Now these
how soon can I move?
I'm telling you, when the developer who was one of the biggest developer in Ghana approached me, because we've been knowing each other and she trusts me, and so I did a tour of the compound about 3 weeks ago. It won't be ready for maybe a year and a half. But 80% of it's done. It started off with the previous government, but then one of the presidents sat on it. But it's going to be a very nice development with all-inclusive gated community, everything on site outside of the city. And so I'm excited about that project. And then I got some projects in Tanzania. Even though I have a safari company, we're gonna launch something that's gonna be connected to travel. I just don't want to say it right now, but I see my biggest projects in Africa. When I was there, I just came back Sunday night. And you're right, I should have jet lag. I was at work Sunday. I was at work Monday. You know what I mean? I can't afford to have jet lag. But
you were outrunning the sun.
Yeah, right. I didn't want to come home this time. This is the first time, because America had became so toxic. This is one of the first time, Pastor Chris, that I dreaded. I extended my trip. I was only supposed to go on 21 days. Shout out to Delta Airlines. They let you change your flight whenever you want to. So that's a C plus. I kept changing it because just so much negative energy, and everywhere I went in Africa, I felt love. I went to Nigeria, they treated me like VIP. Going to nightclub, they got my name up on the marquee. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, I'm nobody. But but it felt so good to be around love, people just trying to hustle, being around the people of the village. So it was tough coming back home to a toxic, so divided nation where there's so much possibility, and people want to be here in America. Africans want to be here. People in Europe want to be here to make money.
Right.
But there's so much division and ungodly like spirit that it bothered me coming home this time.
Yeah,
it really did. So my next big project definitely would be in Africa. Continue to do work here, but man, I see myself purchasing homes, property, and continue to live the rest. I don't know how long the Creator got me here, but I'm trying to make the best out of it there.
Hey, All right. You mentioned a couple of things I'm gonna touch on a little bit. I recall 1980s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, both in Michigan and Washington, D.C. I came in contact with a lot of Africans. They were all coming here. They were going to do this. They were going to do that. And a pretty decent percentage of them expected to go back. Generally speaking, not everyone, but generally speaking, they never went back. they stayed. Right. They stayed. And a lot of them were the best and the brightest. A lot of them were they were the chief. So there was a brain drain aside from whatever challenge that came through, that was coming through. I think with what's happening in media, with social media, there's a bigger picture. And some of the people who've been here are admitting, I'm only here for the money. I would rather be back home. Right. Is this a time where we could expect there will be, I mean, aside from the fact that people are being deported, is this a time where the best and the brightest of Africa will open up the heart and mind to going back and making contributions that really wasn't a decision, even in the last 5 years, any time before that?
Yeah, this is definitely a time. If what you're not seeing here in DC, and politics isn't doing it, I don't know what else will. There's a big movement in Ghana. There's a big movement of people coming back. They're giving out dual citizens. Burkina Faso, if you're African, you're Black, you get a free visa. Senegal, I know some people moving there, and people are using their retirement now to buy houses in the motherland. I see artists, Nas' former wife, Khalees, she's looking so beautiful now. She's in Kenya, bought a big farm, right, living a good life. This is the time for not just Africans, but Black Americans to go back home and see the other side. We can build there. I mean, Africa's population is going to be over 1 billion in the next decade or so. And it is the next front. They have all the natural resources, everything that it needs to survive is right there in the continent. So, right. Yeah, they have to. They're going back. Africans are going back. And unfortunately, it took politics so they can go back.
Right, right. Yeah. You mentioned, home is home. And that's not a good thing for some people, but home really is home. However, you can end up with something that's like home, that's a place that you're not born from. Is that beginning to be the case, or has that already become the case for you?
Yeah, and those who know history, like, oh yeah, America's home. Our ancestor roots. I'll say our grandparents, our third, fourth generation come here, but when you talk to Germans, they always say German America, Germany is home. Italian American, Italy is home. Right. We have to look at Africa as being our really home. We have built this country, so yeah, don't abandon the country that our ancestors built, sacrificed, and sweat and tears died. Everybody knows the story there, but there is a place that we came from where we spoke maybe Swahili, where we spoke maybe Tree, or we spoke some other language, or we had another culture that was taken away from us. And when you get to those slave castles in Ghana, and you do the tour, and you're down in the castle, down in the dungeons, and you see that there was a church on top of the dungeon. Mm-hmm. They were praising God. The white Christians were praising God for the slaves they had down there. It makes you think, okay, these are the same people that brought you here. These are the same people that brought you to America. You came here, you were stolen, you were kidnapped. Don't forget about your real home. And you feel it. You feel it when you get to Africa. You cannot go to Africa, be Black, and don't feel
you feel it
spiritual.
You feel it.
Yes. So, and that's why we're taking so many kids there, because they feel it. None of these kids want to get back on the plane, Chris. By the time we are finishing our trip, they haven't heard any gunshots, no police chase, no fights and arguments. Not saying things are perfect there, but the peaceful aspect, the spiritual aspect of it, they are like, wow, they're blown away.
Right.
So yeah, Africa's home. If anybody that is watching this broadcast need any kind of advice about going to Africa, go. I'm willing to talk to you. I believe that we all need to touch the soil.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'm gonna need some advice to go back, and I mean that in a specific way. We've been looking at and this may be something else other people look at during COVID. A lot of people found out, okay, I can go to Mexico and don't have to deal with this. I can go to Central America, don't have to deal with that. And some people went to Africa, I don't have to deal with that. And then, okay, when it stopped being a big challenge, everybody didn't come back. It's
Right.
like, come back. Everybody didn't come back. For
Right.
people who whether they're young or not as young, and they see themselves doing something else, whether it is a business or whether it is just a love of something in their life that they want to do. But maybe thinking, you know, maybe I could leave the state that I'm in, or maybe I could leave the city I'm in and open up the door. Maybe I could leave the nation that I'm in. But no reference for other people personally who've done that, or not hearing enough people talk. As you've mentioned, this really is a time where a whole lot of things, we're looking at all the things that look like they're crumbling right here.
Right.
While everything else is opening up. Well, stop looking at that. Look at the stuff that's opening. Look at the stuff that's opening up. So anything that you would say from the heart concerning the individual who wants to make a step, because your life has been an example of one step, another door, another door, another door, across the seas, another continent, new opportunity, in an area that I hadn't even seen myself working in, whether it's geographically or whether it's technically. You want to speak to that? I know I just said a lot, but say what is on your heart concerning that.
And that's what the traveling aspects is, open you up to not be. The more you travel, the more it opens up your mind to the possibility. The more I travel, I didn't know when I got to Tanzania that the travel industry in Tanzania, the business industry in Tanzania are ran by Indians.
Right.
I would have never thought that. I never thought when they get to some of these African countries that the Chinese are quietly are the ones that are running things, even though you don't see them. So the Chinese could be there running things. This Black America who got connections could also be there running things. So it opened up my mind, and opened up my mind to the possibility. I would say to these people, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You will never know until you take that chance. And when you put God in your life, when you put principles in your life, you put faith in your life, there's limitless possibilities. So I walk by faith. I believe that I pray on everything I do, and I believe that nothing happens by chance. I believe that God ordains the steps that I'm taking. And if you believe that, you step out on faith, that it's going to happen. And we have to do something different. If what you're in right now is not working, you're not peaceful, you're not happy, then you need to do something else. If your kids don't have you're not building wealth for your family, and that is the whole goal, is to build wealth for your next generation. If you're not doing that, then you got to step out on faith and think of something else.
That's right. I want to step into your heart if I have a couple more minutes. Tell me about your daughters. Sir. Tell me about your daughters. And if there's grandkids, tell me about the grandkids.
I got six beautiful grandkids, two beautiful daughters. One is in Memphis, Tennessee, a doctor's degree. The other one in Muskegon, Michigan, have their own line of clothes, taking care of kids. And they come from two different backgrounds. I got custody of my kids while they were in elementary. And I want to thank the Muskegon community for embracing and my mom for helping me out, because I know I couldn't have done it without her. And so I'm grateful for my kids and my seeds. My grandson my oldest grandson I see a lot of him in me, in competitive spirit, and just spending time. I've taken them on. I took four of them, three of them. We went to on the first international trip. We went to Toronto a couple of years ago. We've been on boats. I try to do things with them that I wish I had. You know what I mean, as a young person. And what's really tripped out, Pastor Chris, it was just last year. Some of them didn't even know I was the boss. So
that's good. That's good.
My two oldest knew, but the four youngest one thought Big Rob was my boss.
Hey, his name is Big Rob. He must be the.
I'm like, really? So so that goes to show you, when I'm with them, I don't talk about what I do. I'm not bragging about what I've been able to accomplish. And so it's just a grandpa and grandkid relationship that's going on. They know now, but it's just funny when they thought that Big Rob was my boss. But I like so it's a good relationship. They love their pawpaw, and my kids love me, and I love them. And I'm blessed. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Very good. Appreciate you. And I appreciate, I appreciate, we talked a lot about Africa, but we read some of the things, but you've done a tremendous amount of things throughout the state of Michigan and Muskegon and across the country, Florida, as we know. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for your time. Appreciate you. I really do appreciate you. And with that, I want to let you know, I'll be looking for you when I know you'll be doing whatever you're doing. But when I travel, it's usually at extremely short notice.
Okay.
So if you're in Tanzania one day and it's like, hey, I'm passing through, it may be short notice.
Right.
Work out whatever we work out. But you've been a blessing, and continue to be a blessing. Any other final words that you have to share, and any other ways for people to communicate with you, your different platforms? Put that out there right now.
Yeah, I'm on social media, Instagram, Paul Allen Billings on Instagram, on Facebook, and follow my companies. Visit Tanzania for Less, 103.7 The Beat, M106, 98.5 The Wire in Orlando. We also have bestblacknews.com. That's being rebuilt, but we have the Instagram, Best Black News, about 20,000 followers there on social media. Kids Free Trip to Africa on social media. Mojo Radio, that app that we created, that is Swahili. So your sister-in-law would definitely appreciate that. Mojo Swahili for Unity. And it consists of over 50 independent Black-owned radio stations, all in one app. So if you like gospel, jazz, Afro beats, hip-hop, R&B, it's all there. Mojo Radio is available on the Fire Stick, Apple, Google Play, and created right here in Muskegon. And also Kids Free Trip to Africa. And thank you for your donations in the past, and thank you to Melvin for what he do in the community here in Muskegon. He's been a blessing to our radio station. I talked to him yesterday, and he has became a radio host. And he loved it.
He's in the media now.
Right.
Well,
and he does a real good job. He has his own style. So.
You don't want cookie cutters. You want
Yeah. So I thank God for you, and your mom was my Cub Scout leader, and she was a blessing to me as a kid. Installing values in me, and I miss her dearly. These people that played a role in my upbringing. They're the reason why that I've been blessed. The foundation that they installed. So we spent a lot of time together as kids, and those were the most crucial years of my life. So thanks for Mother Barnes. Yeah.
Praise God. Appreciate it. She was proud of you too.
Oh my God. And what's really tripped out, and maybe I did an ancestry DNA, and only to find out that we are connected through DNA.
Who are?
We are.
Is that the Louisiana connection or something?
No, we are connected through bloodline DNA.
Okay.
You didn't know that? I
did not know that. But I got to get together on that too.
You need to go on your ancestry app, and I told a couple of your family members, and apparently Mother Barnes y'all did a DNA with her on Ancestry.
Right. Oh, okay.
On Ancestry.com. And one day I updated my list, and lo and behold, someone as a third cousin of mine is a person that was my Cub Scout leader.
Wow.
Now you're talking about spiritual. And I haven't talked about it publicly, but I felt like, no, this is time to talk about it. So yeah, your mother is my third cousin.
Okay, so we're third and a half, a third once removed, a fourth, or something like that.
Whatever that stuff means.
So there's another part of your introduction. I could have said citizen of the world and cousins.
Right. And cousins. And because we always been tight. We always been family. Right. And I know your mother didn't know this, because I learned something from the ancestry DNA that I didn't know. So we learned together.
Yeah.
And it made me feel good, because she was someone who played a role in my life.
Right. That's one. I may have mentioned this before, but I was a year behind your brother Ed.
Yeah.
We ended up in the same class, and I never forgot something he did when I was in 5th and he was in 6th grade. And it was just honorable. And it wasn't nobody else could have done it, but he's the one who did it. And there was a guy who was being bullied. And he was bullied regular by a girl.
Wow.
And on this particular occasion, he got and it was in class. And he read the riot act about why it wasn't right, why it wasn't going to happen, why this is the end of this. He's like, he turned to a cop, the judge, the counselor, and why it wasn't going to happen anymore, and so on, so on, so on, so. And then at the end of that said, now if you're going to bully somebody, bully me. And the teacher, who was not a shrinking violet, was standing right there watching it. She was like, all right then. But he wasn't trying to make himself out of something. He was just and I never forgot
that's who he is.
It was so honorable.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to show off. It was just so honorable. But that's why little points in our time that we're together, we hit connections with different things, and we could hit on several more occasions. When you came down to Florida in May of 2016, I was passing through on the way back from something, and I posted, and you said, "Hey, I'm in Orlando right now. I'm trying to work out something with a radio station." 5 months later, I had retired, and 2 months after retired, I had moved to Tampa in October.
Wow!
And I brought up a thing, and it was a thing that says, "I'm just getting started on this radio station in Orlando." Boom.
Yeah.
Just passing. So we're all passing, and aside from the grace of God, opening our eyes, opening our ears, bringing in a conversation. We may be missing something, but even if we miss it, there's a real God that comes and curtails us or gathers us in. And all of these different points in your life have been a blessing. So many different people and continue to be. I pray as anyone watches this, all of the big ideas, if you call them crazy ideas, wild, the big ideas, that they come to pass and continue to be a blessing in your life, and that this connection today even is an inspiration to you as well as anybody else who connects it. But I'll be looking for you. I'm
here, Rev.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Paul A. Billings, citizen of the world. Catch him somewhere. Be blessed and be a blessing.
All right.
All righty then.